Hi folks, so this video has come out of nowhere as earlier this morning I found myself driving across town to go and exchange money for this bag of goodies off Facebook Marketplace. So what is in the bag, you may ask? Well, let's have a look, shall we? We have a Nintendo 64 shell only with buttons and expansion pack cover. This is in need of a bit of a wash, but this will be useful. The reason being, I recently did some work for a friend where I paid for and did the work to replace the busted screen on their Samsung phone in exchange for their Nintendo 64 console, which was in my house anyway, and I had done some repairs on it previously and just hadn't gotten it back to them. In exchange for that work on their mobile, I got this. I'll do a bit of a close-up shot. This has got some chew marks around on the reset button and also is missing the expansion pack cover. But now that I think about it, I think the only thing this really needs replacing is well, the expansion pack cover and the reset switch. Oh, the extension port cover. So this is the console I currently have. Cover's missing on the expansion port there. We'll change of plans, but now I've got a full replacement shell if I ever need one. That's the first part of why I bought this bundle. So this whole bundle cost me $40 from a chap who was just getting some shit out of the garage, in his words. Shout out Anthony if you're watching this. We also have a controller. Pretty classic problem with these, like it was the same problem with my friend's Nintendo 64, which is now mine. The stick in the center, that's loose and sloppy and useless. But that stick replacement is quite easy to deal with. Hyperkin actually make a Hall Effect replacement that is drop-in, and you can purchase one of those. I purchased one for the controller that I already have. So I purchased a replacement stick from Z Labs in the UK to do the other controller that I have, and I've ordered another one of those. I think it was $27 for the stick and like $10 for shipping. So if I get a new stick dropped into that one, then I've got two controllers, which means Andrew and I will be able to actually play two-player games on the Nintendo 64. These controllers don't really map too well to the PlayStation-esque ones that we have on our usual videos. So having real hardware with proper Nintendo 64 controllers will probably be easier. And the other thing that I got out of this bag of goodies was a not working yet copy of Super Smash Brothers. Never heard of this one. Well, sorry, I have heard of this one, never played it. Everything I've heard about it is, it sounds like it's damn good fun. This would be a good one for Andrew and I to play together on the channel. Old mate said he tried a couple things, but no luck. I might be able to get this to function. We'll have a look at it on my workbench. For only $40, I'm pretty happy with the purchase because with the outlay of an additional $40 in parts and shipping, I'll have two controllers that work. I'll also have a replacement covers and reset switch for the working Nintendo 64 console that I have, so it'll look a little nicer. And I'll have a replacement shell in case anything ever happens to it. And I might have a functional copy of Super Smash Bros. So if that's the case, then money well spent. So I've got this one open up. This is the one that's getting the switch replaced. And you can see on the inside, it's just a case of squeeze these two tabs together and we can pull the switch out from the other side. There we go. So that's the old one. That'll get replaced. For those that may not have seen inside a Nintendo 64 before, this is what we have. This metal shield here is normally just a just a steel plate, kind of greyish colour. But there were some rust spots developing on it, so I gave it a good spray over with a matte black metal primer paint. Figured that might protect it, keep it from getting worse. And it looks kind of really cool. Most of the inside is black, but that's not original. The black spray was my addition. But I've also opened up the Super Smash Brothers cartridge. As you can see from the shielding, it's had a bit of a rusty life. But when we look at the edge connector, there might be some trouble there. We might need to investigate further. And same thing here, but that's okay. I recently purchased a HDMI microscope, so this will be a perfect opportunity to give that a spin. We'll take a closer look at this edge connector, see if we can get to the bottom of why this hasn't been working. I've had the cartridge open and looked at it under the microscope several times, but discovered that for various reasons I lost webcam footage. I'm trying to set up a different camera setup with OBS on my workshop computer that is still going through some teething troubles apparently. So if you're watching this, I've succeeded in getting something usable because I didn't really want to throw this video away. That would have been frustrating. One thing we did find looking at this cartridge under the microscope was that one of the traces had actually corroded away, and that needed to be repaired. Now, in the lost footage, what I did manage to do was a very bodgy repair, which you'll see on screen now. And I put the cartridge in, powered it up, and I did actually get the game functional and played it for a little bit. But then it kind of had like a digital death scream, and I haven't been able to get it to start since. Now, as you saw from the microscope view of my initial repair attempt, it was pretty ugly. Now, I know that repair was ugly, and I had intended from the beginning to come back and do a proper job of it. Given that I lost the footage and I have to have another go at recording the footage anyway, we may as well actually do that proper job. So what we are going to do is this disgusting mess here, I'm going to clear that all away. You'll be able to see where the trace had corroded away. I'll show you that. So first of all, let's clear up this horrible mess that we do have. My trusty Weller soldering iron here. I think I'll just heat this up and swipe it all away. Yep, there we go. No, there we go. Now I'll get some desoldering wick in there to clean it up even more. There we are. And up here by the soldering iron, I think if I turn the light off, I'm not sure if that actually made it easier or not, but there is a break in the track here. If I get my trusty multimeter, put that into continuity test mode, it's like the equivalent of clicking the barbecue tongs. But that actually does also help to make sure that your meter hasn't automatically powered off. Had that happen before where I'm like, oh, there's no continuity here, not realize that my meter has powered off. So always do that. But if I bring this down to the circuit board and have a look at each side, we'll get no continuity. If I bring it over to the other track, it is good. As I mentioned, I have proven to myself that this trace is the only piece that needed to be repaired. I did have the cartridge running off screen in the lost footage. Now the challenge I face is because this gap is so very tiny, and you saw that little piece of wire that I did have on there to bridge the gap. If I tack it on this side, that holds it in place, but then I go to tack it on this side and the heat on this side basically shoots straight across to the other end and the whole thing just comes loose. So it's a bit of pain. What I want to try is see if I can have better success by coming down to here, scraping a little bit of the mask off to expose the track, and then connecting that way, just to give us a bit more distance when we're heating up the far end of the bodge wire. I'll drop a little bit of isopropyl alcohol down on here to just clean up my previous mess a little more. There we are. Now you can definitely see where that track has eaten through. So I've got a strand of 30 AWG wire here that we will strip down and then solder in place. So I think I'll strip the whole length of it. Now, one thing I don't have to really do this bodge repair job properly is I don't have any solder mask or protectant, like nail polish is frequently used, to cover over these exposed bits. So that is something that I would need to come back to at a later date if I really want to give this a proper repair. This is going to be fiddly. What I might do is actually get some paper tape to tape the cartridge board down to the base of the microscope so it's not sliding around. Okay, there we go. That's done the trick. Less prone to slipping and sliding now. So now that the circuit board from the cartridge is secure, let's try again at getting our bodge wire in place. Okay, I think I'll try the far end first. Tweezers, they should help. Okay, finally got one end in place. I think this extra solder that I've spilt down around here, I'll leave that in place because that will work as a bit of a protectant from the elements. This cartridge has definitely seen better days. Now, what I'm hoping is that by being a little bit further away, even though realistically it's still pretty close to up this end, that I can just tack some solder in place there and have the bodge wire stay in place and be more secure than my first attempt, and a little cleaner looking too. Ah, look at that. There we go. Now we just snip that off. Give it a bit of a clean with some isopropyl. Still looks a bit grotty, but it's definitely better than my first attempt. And now I'll put the board back into the case just so that I make certain that I'm orienting it the correct way around when I put it into the console. The good thing about these cartridge cases is there's these little plastic tabs on each end. We'll see the other one down here. And they basically just make sure that the circuit board can only go in there one way. And now that means that we can plug this into the console correctly. I'll be back in a moment to see if we can if this has worked. So now I've got the console set up and cartridge plugged in. This is just going via a composite to HDMI converter to my lab TV. And let's have a look, see if we have some success. Power on. That's not good. But now that I think about it, I haven't actually plugged the video cable in. That's usually a critical step. With the video plugged in now, let's try that again. Oh yes. This is a happy functional cartridge. Damn, I'm pretty stoked with that. I'm basically controller one hand while holding my phone with the other. Well, folks, I'm pretty happy that we got that cartridge to work in the end, and all it took was a slightly better patch job on one corroded trace. Pretty happy with that. I'll probably do a quick video just to demonstrate how quick it is to take that Hyperkin replacement joystick and swap it out on the Nintendo 64 controllers when that arrives from the UK. So just a quick recap then, $40, I've got replacement reset button and missing covers for my Nintendo 64 console. I've got a now functioning copy of Super Smash Bros. And we'll also have a second controller. Well, another thing that I want to quickly mention was I did do a quick voltage check on the coin cell battery inside the Super Smash Bros. Cartridge, and it read 3.07 volts, which I think is a-okay for lithium button cell. Anyhow, folks, hope you enjoyed this, and welcome to 2026. Hope it's a good year for you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.